Good morning and welcome to Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is titled Grover Unexpectedly Loses His Pants. Okay, well, we'll see. So as from last chapter, Percy had to go home for the summer. He took a bus, the city bus, to get back to his home, and his mother lives in New York. And so he loves his mother. And his mother's name is Sally Jackson, and she's the best person in the whole world, which just proves my theory that the best people have the worst luck. Her parents died in a plane crash when she was 5 years old, and she was raised by an uncle who didn't care much about her. She wanted to be a novelist, so she spent high school working to save enough money for a college with a good creative writing program. And then her uncle got sick with cancer, and she had to quit school her senior year to take care of him. And after he died, she was left with no money, no family, and no high school diploma. The only good break she ever had was meeting my dad. I don't have any memories of my dad, just this sort of like warm, fuzzy glow feeling. And maybe I can remember his smile. But my mom doesn't like to talk about him because it makes her sad. She doesn't have any pictures. So they weren't actually married. She told me he was rich, important, and their relationship was a secret. And then one day he sailed across the Atlantic on some important journey and he never came back. So Percy's dad, he's never met him. He doesn't know him, doesn't know who he is. So my mom said that he was lost at sea and he was dead. So to make ends meet, she worked odd jobs. She took night classes to get her high school diploma, and she raised me by herself. And she never complained. She never got mad, not even once. I was not easy. I was always in trouble. I was naughty. I was a bad kid. Then my mom married Gabe Ugliano, who was nice the first 30 seconds we knew him, and then showed his true colors as a world-class jerk. When I was little, I nicknamed him Smelly Gabe because he smelled bad. Sorry, it's the truth. He smelled like moldy garlic pizza wrapped in dirty PE shorts. He was fat too. He looked like a tuskless walrus. Wearing thrift store clothes, and he only had 3 hairs on his head. So he was bald. He was bald, fat, he smelled bad, and he looked like a walrus, and he was not nice. He was bad. So anyway, so that's my mom. She was lovely. And then there's my stepdad, or my real dad. He died. And then my stepdad smells bad. He's fat, bald, and looks like a walrus. And he's not nice. So I get home, open the door, and I hear my mom's voice, Percy? And then she opened the door, and my fears melted. My mother makes me feel so good. Her eyes sparkle, and they change in the light. Her smile is warm. She's got some gray in her brown hair, but I don't think of her as old. When she looks at me, she sees all the good things about me. And I've never heard her raise her voice or say any mean things, even to Gabe. Percy, I can't believe it. You've grown since Christmas. Remember, Percy lived at a boarding school. Anyways, she works at Candy Shop. So she's got this red, white, and blue Sweet on America uniform, and it smelled like candy. It smelled like chocolate and licorice and all the other stuff she sold at the candy shop. And she brought me a bag of free samples, the way she always did when I came home. So we sat together on the bed. We were catching up, and ugly, smelly Gabe comes in and is like, "Where's my bean dip? I need some dip for my chips so I can watch TV." And I got so mad. And so we're talking, chatting, and my mom says, "I have a surprise, Percy. We're going to the beach. Yay, the beach. And staying in a cabin. It's going to be so much fun." So she's like, "Percy, get changed. I need to change out of my work uniform, and then we're headed to the beach. And then there's Gabe. I want bean dip. Bean dip now, Sally. And so I wanted to punch him. And my mom's like, I'm on my way, hon. I'll make you your bean dip. And then we're going to go to the beach with, I'm going to go with Percy. You can stay home, Gabe. And so I told Gabe, or my mom told Gabe, like, it wasn't going to cost him any money. She was going to borrow his car, which is a Camaro, so they can drive to the beach. And so they did. They left. They drove to the beach. They were going to this cabin on the shore. It was just outside of Long Island, and it was small, and it was fun. There was always sand in the sheets and spiders in the cabinets, and most of the time the water, it was too cold. The beach was too cold to get in. But we've been going there since I was a baby, and I loved it. We made a fire on the beach. We roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. Mom told me stories about her, like growing up as a kid. And then she, they were just talking and chatting and all of that good fun. And as they're talking on the beach, eating their hot dogs, Percy's like, are you going to send me back to the boarding school? Because he didn't want to be away from his mom. And she said, I don't know, but I need to keep you safe. And so as Percy's thinking, he's thinking about these memories. Number one, when he was in 3rd grade, he remembers a man in a black trench coat stalking him, following him on the playground. And when the teachers threatened to call the police, the man in the coat went away growling. But nobody believed me that when I told him that under his hat, he only had one eye on his forehead. Then, a really, really early memory before 3rd grade, when I was in preschool, Percy was in preschool, a teacher put him down for a nap in a cot, and a snake slithered into the cot. My mom screamed when she came to pick me up and found me playing with a dead, limp snake. I managed to kill it in my sleep, but either way, I got a snake during nap time. Every school I've been to, something really creepy has happened. I mean, remember Mrs. Dodds? She turned into a monster. So I had to move every year I had to move schools. I probably should tell my mom about the old ladies and the socks at the fruit stand and Mrs. Dodds at the art museum, but I couldn't tell her. I didn't want to stress her out. We were having such a great time at the beach. So, anyways, go to bed, had a crazy dream, wake up, storm outside. Storm is blowing, thunder, craziness. So crazy. And then there was a knock at the door. Guess who it was? It was Grover. Grover was at the door, and he was like, what's going on? It's right behind me. And so it was crazy. Waking up in the middle of the night, Grover at the door. It's raining. Grover's worried about something. And guess what? Grover had no pants. He had no pants on. And his legs, they were goats. They were goat legs. They were not human legs. Grover has goat legs. And so the mom freaks out. She's like, we have to go get in the Camaro, get in the car. So Grover, Percy, and Percy's mom leave the cabin in the storm and run to the car.